And this is the story of how Sailing Magic Carpet outran the storm in their racing yacht. I'm Aladino. I'm both Swiss and Italian and a boat builder by profession.
And I'm Maya, a Canadian artist and sailor. This is our home, Magic Carpet. She's a Vinda 32, though she's only 28 feet long. And 4 years ago, she fell 20 feet off a crane onto concrete. Insurance wrote her off, but Aladino bought her, fixed her, and now she's our home. Our mission? To sail around the world as slowly as possible.
Time to move on.
And so it was. We had spent quite a while in the ancient city of Taormina, but it was time to move farther south.
We chose to leave now because there is some wind forecasted and hopefully we can also sail.
I started the day with some video editing while Aladino kept an eye on things above deck.
As you guys might know, I wear contact lenses and once in a while your eyes need rest, and I actually got this Swiss military glasses. This is actually shades which go on top, and I can even equip it with those side things. Looks absolutely ridiculous, but it makes a world of difference. Ah, there we go. Who cares about looks when you live on a boat?
The engine topped up the batteries after over a week on anchor, but fortunately the forecasted wind soon picked up and we were able to sail.
Now, isn't this beautiful?
We pulled up the main and pulled out the Genoa. Oh, what a feeling. After a few days at anchor, it's always pure magic to start moving with the wind again. Every mile gained under sails feels like it's a gift. The wind is freedom, financially and emotionally, whereas the engine and the diesel it consumes is always a loud reminder of something that it's often nice to forget. But today was a day that, even in the moment, you want to remember.
Mwah! Beautiful! I have to say that I had very little say in the sails that we have because they came with the boat when I bought it, but I absolutely love them. I have huge admiration for sailmakers, and honestly, if I would do another apprenticeship, I would do one as a sailmaker, I think, and canvas in general. Really understanding the matter and producing some of these spectacular wind-driven engines is just an art form to itself. Their shape, how it holds the shape, and how they also can be reefed with very little compromise and still be used as a jib or smaller sail. It just works really, really, really well. And for a day like today, when the seas are calm and we just glide through without much heeling and much rolly motion, yeah, sails like a dream. It's beautiful.
The day kept rolling by and we moved along with it. The autopilot did most of the work, and the wind and the sails, and the whole thing just took care of itself as we enjoyed the ride. We sped along, growing ever closer to the protected anchorage and ancient walls of Syracuse.
Woohoo! It's only 10 nautical miles missing, and we're moving along smoothly at over 5 knots. So we'll see if the wind holds. We might be there in just a little bit over 2 hours, but it's been absolutely fantastic. I've been reading, Maya is reading. Mostly I'm out to keep an eye on traffic, and now we are pretty close to land, but Syracuse is not visible yet.
It was a day of beautiful sailing. perfect sailing. All should have been exactly right in the world. Even editing this footage now, a few months later, I watch it and I marvel at how perfect it all looked. But I also remember, very distinctly, on that day being quite sad and quite homesick. We had said goodbye to our friends in Taormina, and I was just a bit sick of that, a bit sick of always saying goodbye. So I talked to my parents on the phone, and I read some books, and I played some music, a prescription that fixes most ailments of the soul, or mine anyway. As I read, I came across this passage in The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. It's about the mole when he revisits his old home that he moved out of some time ago. He loves his old home, and he misses it, and in some never-ending way he wants to return to it. Yet he knows that his new, sunny life on the river is the one he's meant to live, and he knows he can't stay at home, no matter how comforting it is. Quote, "He saw clearly how plain and simple, how narrow even it all was, but clearly, too, how much it all meant to him, and the special value of some such anchorage in one's existence. He did not at all want to abandon the new life and its splendid spaces, to turn his back on sun and air and all they offered him, and creep home and stay there. The upper world was all too strong. It called to him still, even down there, and he knew he must return to the larger stage. But it was good to think he had this to come back to, this place which was all his own, these things which were so glad to see him again, and could always be counted upon for the same simple welcome."
Hold on to the image of quiet songs in the stillness of night.
The wind is screaming along, carrying us across oceans, and Maya is singing along.
You got a lot of tenderness, so much love, can't get no rest. If you're willing to waste a little time, I don't need all of it. All I want's a little bit. You got a lot of money saved, no use taking it all to your grave. Ain't worth nothing if you ain't feeling fine. I don't want all of it, all I need is a little bit.
But as we grew nearer and nearer to Syracuse, the clouds started taking on an ethereal color, and the air became charged. Lightning started flashing, and the setting sun saturated everything with filtered gold.
Now the expected winds have started to blow. It was blowing from this direction first, and now I got the opposite here, which is, middle of the thunderstorm where the gusts are developing. It's getting windier and windier. Yeah, a little freaked out, but all in all it was a wonderful sailing day. I am quite stoked. We made over 50 nautical miles distance in, most of it sailing. I hope it will be an easy place to find anchorage and not too crowded, because the sun is about to go down. I can see it. It's a red glowing ball behind the clouds, and the clouds have so many colors and shapes. It's incredible. Also some of the most impressive lightning I've ever seen.
We pulled into Syracuse just in time before the rain began pouring down. It was the first time in a few months that I actually felt a chill in the air. We turned on the cozy lights and I put on some jazz, and it was a funny feeling, especially after my mood of the whole day. It's like all of a sudden a sense of home just showed up in the Bay of Syracuse, in the form of a slight chill, some cozy lights, and some warm jazz. It was familiar, like if I looked out the window I could be in Squamish, and Magic Carpet could be Curlew.
Good morning. So yeah, it was a stormy night, as you saw coming in. It was raining, but it was really cozy. Being in the boat, there was a cool breeze, and now it's dead calm. It's incredible. I made the comparison that it's like, wow, it's like sleeping on a Walmart parking lot. Even if it's way better than that. But just the calmness of, yeah, the bay in here right now being as calm and flat as concrete. I'll show you. Seems like the whole world is sleeping still. Yeah, we also anchored quite far away from all the others. But it's like 9 in the morning. It's a huge bay. And there's a river coming into it, and that's why there's murky water.
Aladino started out with a small repair.
Epoxy! We need epoxy! Because yesterday we were in a hurry to get the mainsail down because of the gust of the thunderstorm, and unfortunately I slipped and landed on the cutting board, which was in the cockpit, and I split it in half. So now I got the surgeon kit out and some epoxy, and now I'm gonna try to glue our magnificent bamboo cutting board together. Nothing serious.
And then we were going to go to town, but the wind picked up again, and we decided to stay and watch the boat for a bit.
From one moment to the other, it became very, very windy. It seems to be a very it seems to be a thing that occurs every day here. A thunderstorm starts brewing, and it brings gusts with it. So I'm here to check. The good thing is the bay is so protected from almost all sides that waves don't really build up, but you still gotta keep an eye out. I checked for everything flying around, and yeah, occasionally there might be rain too, so we don't want to get everything wet. Bridle is on the chain, and now we also see if we drag or not, but I have plenty of rope that I could still send out. Pretty exciting.
Since we had to stay on board to keep an eye on things, I worked on videos, and Aladino tried installing some lee cloths, which he had made out of some old dinghy racing sails.
Well, that clearly didn't work. So yeah, what to do now?
When Aladino tested the lee cloths by leaning into them, the grommets ripped right out of the lightweight fabric.
Thinking about what I could do next, instead of just abandoning the mission, I came up with the same nets that we used to hang up our vegetables. I think I'm gonna try that, because I have a few spare feet of that. A few, yeah, not too much, but maybe like 2 meters. Unfortunately, it's not enough to make 2, but at least I'm gonna make 1, because this is the bunk that needs that the most. Ta-da! We're done! I hope that it will work. I improvised something. And these strings actually that support the net, instead of just tying them up here and here always on the upper one, I made them start at the very bottom. So they're also supported by the screw a little bit, and I have a nice ending on the edge here as well. I thought that's nicer, because otherwise, since they are using a bigger one on top and bottom, that it might rip somewhere here. So this is nice. And I did the same with the middle ones, so yeah, since I don't know how good the net will be, we have a little bit of a backup of those 2 ropes being fully secured as well. It's actually funny, because I was using fabric from race sails before, but I think this is much of a racier solution, being so light. What is lighter than a net? And actually it might even be good in hot climates not to have something like that sail right next to you, but something airy. And what is really nice is I bet I can make it disappear really nicely under the mattress.
Super Dini!
Super Maya!
Super Dini always comes up with solutions. When the squall had passed, the sun emerged, and we decided to go check out Syracuse. Cicero wrote that Syracuse is the greatest Greek city and the most beautiful of them all. Archimedes was born here, and for some time it was one of the most powerful Greek cities in the Mediterranean. Today, Syracuse is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the reason why becomes apparent after strolling around its streets for even a few minutes. Everywhere in the city are these archways, over doors to private apartments or boarded up buildings or tastefully renovated storefronts. As the sun set over Syracuse, the walls turned pastel pink, and we slowly meandered home. The next day we left, and dolphins guided us out. Our destination? Well, that's for the next episode. As always, a giant thank you to our patrons. You really do make this possible. And an extra big thank you to these folks who go above and beyond every single week and every single month to make sure these videos continue. We'll see you in the next episode.